Aloha artists, Miss Maggie here. This week we are going to go on another underwater adventure in Hawaii's oceans. This week we are going to draw a Hawaiian monk seal. These are the supplies that you are going to need. You are going to need a large drawing paper. I know we've used up all of our watercolor paper, but you probably still have a large drawing paper. You will need a pencil, eraser, and a Sharpie, and you are going to want your oil pastels, and we are going to do a little bit of painting for the background, so you will want your paints, brush, water, and as always, a paper towel is useful too. So, what are we going to need? You're going to want that large drawing paper, pencil, eraser, Sharpie, oil, pastels, paper towel, and your watercolors, brush, and water. Go get those supplies and meet me right back here. I have a friend who went on an amazing scuba dive and saw a monk seal up close, and he was able to film it. So, I wanted to share this footage with you, even though I didn't get to be there in person. We get to all take it in right now through his amazing video. While we watch this video, what are you going to look for that's going to help you better draw a monk seal? Maybe you can look for its lines, its shapes, see what you can notice about its body that makes it so unique. So, join me underwater with this amazing monk seal. Wow. Does this monk seal seem curious to you? Look at all the different positions that you take this body as it swims around. You might notice some numbers inside. Researchers shave it in. It goes away with time, but it helps them keep track. And did you hear that? Wow, it's like he's talking underwater. Isn't that amazing? What do you notice? Wow, what did you think of that? What details do you want to include in your artwork? There's a lot of possibilities, isn't there? In order to get started, we're going to want to look at the monk seal's body and see, well, how do they move and what sort of lines and shapes are they made out of? Because they really can go every different way. And so we want to be able to draw the monk seal swimming in all different ways, right? So let's draw one or two together so that you can see how to do this. Here are two that I did at different angles, and you can see one is looking straight at me and the other one is looking off this way. Do you see how their nose is in a different part of their head? They're at an angle. This one, the nose is right in the middle, like if I'm looking at you like this. But if I'm like this, then my nose is off to the side. Same thing like the monk seal. So, how do we do this? I have my pencil, I have my large paper, and I have some pictures for us to look at. One is an illustration that really just shows us the features, and another one is a photo. I want to think, what position, what gesture do I want my monk seal to be in? Do I want it to be swimming straight like this one? Do I want it to be coming at me like this one? Do I want it to be with its head kind of down because it's looking at me from a funny angle? I get to decide. And the way I'm going to set this up is with the shape of the body. And so, I need to decide how big my monk seal is going to be. I'm going to have mine be pretty large. I'm going to put its head here and its tail down here. So it takes up the whole space. And if I'm going to draw the body, I want it to be like a teardrop, but the wider part is going to be on the head side and the tail is going to be on the pointy end. Leave some space for the tail and the head, but your teardrop is going to tell us what the monk seal is doing. I've got a teardrop there. I could do more than one monk seal in different positions. Like I could do a monk seal that's like this. Maybe it's a baby. And so it'll be like that. I could do another one that's upside down. If I do it like this, it means its head is going to be down here. So, monk seals don't usually gather in large groups, though. They're usually pretty solitary, but you do find mothers with their babies. I might not draw all of these monk seals, but it helps give you ideas, right? Next, I'm going to do the head. Like I said, the head goes on the rounder part of the teardrop. And so that head, I'm going to have it so it overlaps that curve there. So that curve goes through the middle of the circle. See how my lines are really sketchy? It's because I'm figuring out where the lines should be. And the lines I don't want, I'll just erase after a while. So maybe this is a monk seal mommy that had twins. Wow, that would be amazing. She would have to be somewhere where she really can get enough fish to eat. And monk seals, they have a hard time with that in some places. And that's why we need places like Papahanaumoku Marine Reserve. That is up on the far end of the Hawaiian chain, and that area is protected for the Hawaiian monk seal and the fish and the coral and everything else there, so we can have a healthy ecosystem. So I have my head. Do you see how the head overlapped the curve there? And I've got some lines that I don't need. I'll get rid of them now, just so that things aren't too confusing. They're not bothering me too much, but I want you to be able to see what my plan is. And again, you don't need 3 monk seals. You can do just one. But if you're doing just one, make it big on your paper so that we can really appreciate your monk seal. Okay, I have the body, I have the head, and so you can see the body here too. This one's kind of like this one, but in mirror view. I have the head. Next, I'm going to do the nose. These are all guidelines, right? We're not going to keep all these lines when we're done, but they help us get to our finished product. What I'm going to do for my monk seal that's looking straight at us, if you're doing a monk seal that's looking straight at you, I'm going to draw a line, a guideline, super light, through the center of the head, like that. That is going to be useful. And then, in the lower part of the head, I'm going to draw another circle right there. See how that line goes through that circle too? Goes right through there. Okay, that's useful. And if I have that circle there, I can put in the face. This monk seal is looking straight at us. And so that means that its eyes are going to be symmetrical on both sides of this. I'm going to do some almond shapes with a circle in the middle. And they're right outside our nose circle, our snout. And so I've got that. Now I'm going to color them in, but leave a little highlight there. There we go. I have the eyes. Next, if you see, I've got the eyes here, and then look at the snout. It has two little slits for the nose. And they're kind of low down on the snout. I know this one's looking 3/4 view, not straight on, but you can still see. So it has two little snouts there and a line down. And so, I already had that guideline. I can use that. And then that turns into the mouth. And so I've got the mouth there, I've got the nose, and there are whiskers. And the whiskers come out of little dots, and those dots are kind of in lines going across right there. Little bit of whiskers coming out. Now, I definitely have more lines than I need on here. I'm going to decide what lines are going to stay a part of the head and what lines are going to go away. I'm going to smooth out the top of the head and have it connect to the body. I'm going to smooth out the side of the head and have it connect down here. And down here, I'm going to have that connect to the body. And then I can know that, well, I don't need that line coming down through the head. I don't need those parts there. I don't even need that part there. And how much of that circle do I really need? You might want some of it still there. I can still see a little bit of it in this picture. But other than down here, you don't need that much of it. And I can look back at the video and decide if there's any details I want, or at these photos here. I think I actually want the nostrils going the other way. Oh, because see how they're curved out like that? Huh, that's useful. Good to know. Now, I have the head just about done, but my monk seal's obviously not done yet. It needs some fins for one. So, these fins, this one, I'm going to have one coming out and going up this way, connecting. So these are like the arms coming out of the shoulders. I'm going to have the other one coming down, kind of like the one in the photo here. So I've got 1, 2, and then I've got the tail. Interesting thing about monk seals is that they've got one part here and one part here. So one side is going to come out and have some little bits like that. And then the other side is going to come in too. And I'm going to look at those guidelines, decide which parts I most want to keep and which parts I can let go of. And there we go. Okay. I think my tail's a little large for the size of the body. I'm going to bring it in a little bit like that. Come in a little bit like that. See, I'm always looking, going, what else do I think it needs? So now I've got the other two, and I was going to show you how to do a monk seal's face if they're looking to the side. That can be neat too. And now I am going to do the mouth, the snout. And this time the snout is going to overlap the edge of the circle. And so this line here of the circle is going to go straight through the center of the snout. And so now I've got a snout there. And that line that was going through the middle of the snout, that's the line of the circle. And I can actually put in the little snout nostrils, and I can make it have a little mouth. And I'm going to put in the eyes. See how the eyes on here, one of them is really right on the edge? I'm actually going to put it out outside. I'll show you why. And this one will be inside. And so I have the eyeballs right on the edge of the snout line, outside the snout line. One of them is inside the head circle right there, and one is right outside the head circle. And once I have those there, I can adjust my head shape. I'm going to follow this line around and bring that eyeball in. And I'm going to decide, well, how much of this nose needs to be a part of it? And how does it connect to the head there? And then how does the head connect to the body? So I am smoothing out my guidelines. We did that on this one too, right? It's just choosing slightly different lines. And I didn't do those whiskers yet though, did I? And so I'm going to do those little lines of dots on both of its cheeks, a couple whiskers, and I'm ready for the next part, the fins. And I can put one here, and that fin in the back, the tail, I'm going to have this one kind of flipping back. There we go. I've got a mommy and a baby, and the baby is looking up at the mommy. So, what do we do once we have all of our lines the way we want them to be? We Sharpie, right? I'm going to carefully go over these lines with my Sharpie. When you have your monk seal or monk seals all the way that you like them, with the lines really showing off the details that make your monk seal beautiful, then you Sharpie too. These Sharpie lines are making the monk seal look great. Yours is going to look fantastic when you carefully and slowly go over it with a Sharpie as well. Okay, I have mine Sharpie. Now to erase. Wow, aren't those monk seals amazing? Have you seen one before? It's such a special thing to see a monk seal. They are so rare that if you see one on the beach, give it lots of space. They are protected and they don't have much habitat available to them. They don't have many safe places. So let's watch them from a distance and really enjoy them. And so let's make these ones as beautiful as possible so people can really appreciate monk seals. Next, after the Sharpieing, let's oil pastel the monk seals. When you look at the monk seals, what colors do you see? I see a gray, but I don't have a gray in the set. I do have a black and a white. I see some beigey brown color, so I might get some of that. And when things are underwater, the blue of the ocean definitely seeps into their color. So I'm going to get a blue, and I do have that white there too. That will be useful. So I also see areas that are darker and lighter on the monk seal. This illustration is just showing the color of its fur, but you might have noticed in the video how when the light coming down through the waves hits the monk seal, those areas can be lighter, can't they? So let's think, how can we use these colors and any others that you see in the monk seal to make it look its best? I think I'm going to take that color too. I think it might be a good one. I'm going to put a little bit of black, but I'm going to do the black very lightly, just where I know it's going to be its darkest. But I'm putting that black in there, making sure I stay in the shape. And I'm going to blend with this black. I'm not just going to make the monk seal black. It's obviously not just black. But if I take some brown in there with it, And then maybe I take a little blue shining on it. And I take some white. See how that's coming together? Down there needs some more. Maybe I give it some more blue. But with the brown and the black, it's definitely not just sky blue or even ocean blue. It has some interesting shades and values to it. So I've got that black there. And I'm going to put some brown in there. See how my marks are curved? Well, the monk seal's body is curved, so I might as well. And I'm deciding, well, I think it's really dark underneath where it can't get much sunlight. So if it's in the shadow, it needs more of those dark colors, doesn't it? I'm going to put some more of that blue in there. See? Oops, I went outside my shape. I'll just blend it together so no one can tell the difference. Sometimes talking and making art at the same time can be challenging. So you do your best to focus when you're making art. Ooh, I like how that blue is looking with the brown and the black for those dark areas. Some areas might not be that dark. And I'm going to have to do the face differently, aren't I? Or I'll lose the details of the face. And we worked too hard on that to lose it. But do you see how my oil pastel, when I call an area done, it actually is really thick like that. I can see the paper right through. It's not done. And these areas where I have it blended all the way, you can't see the paper. And I guess these areas aren't quite done. I like having some white on there too. Not everywhere, just in some spots. It creates contrast. What's contrast? I think we've talked about that word before. There's lots of ways to create contrast, but one of them is with dark versus light. They are different in how you use the value. You can also create contrast with different colors, like brown versus a light blue. Here we have some light blue where the monk seal is kind of reflecting the ocean colors. I'm going to need some of that brown and black in here again too, though. What colors do you see in the monk seal? Okay, how about that face? Where is it dark? Where is it light? I see that there is some darkness, kind of like eyebrows there coming down. A little bit like that. Maybe a little bit more brown around the edges. Then I'm going to bring that blue in there, but not too much. And then I'm going to blend with the white. So I didn't do the eyes because I wanted the eyes to stand out. Some of the other details I'm kind of losing, but I can still see them. I can still see where I put them. One thing you can do if you've really lost your details is pencil them in. I'm not going to Sharpie them in because the Sharpie will get ruined by the oil pastels, but pencil can go right through them. Nice dark pencil, making those beautiful lines stand out again. There we go. And I'm going to look at it one more time. Where does it need something different? Where are the colors not blended all the way? Where do they maybe need a little bit more of a color? Wow, my monk seal ended up having a lot of blue in it. Maybe it needed a little bit more brown. Oil pastels, you can keep going on thick and layer those colors and it'll still affect it. But I have so many little crumbs on there, I'm going to get all those crumbs in the trash. Okay, I have one monk seal done. I'm going to do the second one. Just like the first, figure out where it's dark, where it's light, blend those colors. Take your time. You can pause the video, you can rewind it. You've got this. Make some beautiful monk seals. Once you have colored in your monk seals, let's do the background. And I know this is drawing paper, not watercolor paper that we're working on for your coral reef project, but if it is the drawing paper that came with the art paper that I sent home, it can handle a little bit of water. You just need to be careful. And so let's do a watercolor wash background like we did for the background of your coral reef. You can decide what oceany colors to have behind your swimming monk seals. How do we start with a watercolor wash? Well, we need the water, we need the paints, and we need the brush. I am going to start with that water, right? I'm going to fill this paper with water. I am using my brush gently. I am filling in those areas with water. No paint yet. And if I touch the monk seal, that's fine. I might pick up some little crumbs, but that's all right. And I'm going to fill in my whole paper with just water. Take your time, go smoothly, stroke, stroke, smooth strokes. When you think you've got your whole paper covered, go back and check those parts you did at the beginning. Make sure that they're still wet. Double check that there aren't any areas that you missed, and then let's mix some nice oceany colors. I'm going to take some blue and add some water to it. What color are you going to do for your ocean? Ooh, I'm dropping that in with the water. It's flowing a bit. Needs a little bit of help to flow some more, but it definitely does. The more water I add, the lighter it is. If you want it to be a light blue, then add lots of water to it. If you want it to be darker, add more paint. I think I want my ocean to be a little bit turquoisey. So I'm going to put some green in there. Ooh, I like that. And I'm going to bring this blue down. And I think I'm going to let this blue get darker as it gets deeper. Darker blue around my monk seals. The watercolor won't go over the oil pastel. Okay, a little bit of blue-green there. Ooh, I like that color. See how I'm keeping it so it just all flows. One thing to remember, though, is that when this is done, you're going to want to keep it in one spot for a while. It's going to take a while to dry, and that paper can be fragile when it's all wet. Okay, a little bit dry down there, but I'm spreading the paint around. It'll work. And I want some purple in that blue too. Make it feel even darker and deeper and more interesting. Ooh, I love mixing colors. I love that. Blue and purple swirling behind. I think that is done. Wow. Ooh, so much fun. Look at yours one more time. Is there anything else it needs? Anywhere that you missed the paint? Check the corners. Check everything. I think mine is done. Oh, This one needs some drying time, but I am so excited to see it once it has dried. And I'm excited to see yours too. This is our next quarter. I'm not going to be making new videos for you every week. I'll still send videos every so often, but not every week. But I know that each of you are so creative and in many ways, not just in drawing and painting, but I also definitely hope you keep drawing and painting. I know that when you create art, and I mean art of all kinds, because I know when you dance or sing or write poetry or stories or invent, you are creating something beautiful that goes out into the world. But I hope that you continue to create art of all kinds, because I know when you draw and paint, but also when you dance and sing and invent and write stories or poetry, that is creating something that's beautiful. And if you share it with the world, you are going to inspire people. And when you inspire people, they want to make the world a more beautiful place too. So keep making beautiful things and ideas. And so finally, here is my reflection question for you. I want you to think back to all the art videos that I have shared with you this year. Think of all the projects that we've done. What is one thing that you learned? Maybe it was a way to draw something. Maybe it was a way you used your paint. Maybe it was a new way of thinking about art that you have kept using. I would love to hear about that. What is one thing from our art videos that you have kept using or plan to use in the future? Okay, clean up your paints so that they are going to be nice and happy for next time, and let your artwork dry somewhere safe. Remember to share it on Seesaw, share it on Padlet. All you have to do is click the little plus sign in the Padlet window right below this video and then upload a photo. I want to see what you've made. Please share it with me since I'm not in the classroom with you. And I know that you will keep making art. I'll see you next time. Ahui ho!